Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. So, for this week, I will be discussing on organizational design and organizational change. So, let's start. What do you see on the figure that you see on your screen? Can you tell us more about what you think it is? So, to answer that question, so as you can see, meron dyan nakasulat na owner, president, and then merong account manager, marketing manager, operations manager, HR manager. And then under marketing manager, may nakalagay din na advertising, sales supervisor, and sales staff. Under the operations manager, may nakalagay na note taker supervisor, note takers, copiers supervisors, and copiers. So basically, I believe alam naman natin lahat kung anong ibig sabihin nito. So this is basically an organizational chart. What is an organizational chart? To formally define an organizational chart, it is the most basic representation of organizational design. It is a visual chart that represents the structure of a company. It is also called organigram, organogram, organigraph, or organizational breakdown structure OBS. It is also a diagram that graphically shows the structure of an organization and the relationships and hierarchies of job roles and people within the organization. So, ano nga ba ang makikita sa isang organizational chart? So, ang isang organizational chart is composed of a set of lines, arrows, and boxes that usually has the following organizational structures. Number one is the company name. Number two is the organizational hierarchy, both horizontal and vertical. So ito yung ah, makikita mo kung ano yung chain of command ng isang organization. Number three, job titles and positions. Number four, name of people and sometimes pictures of employees or the management. Number five, the departmental divisions. And number six, the work assignments or yung location ng work or ng structure. So ano nga ba ang organizational design? So it is a process of shaping the way organizations are structured and run. So it involves implementing organizational structures and systems that align to an organizational core strategies. It is the integration of people with core business processes, technology, and systems, or the organizational structures in short. So, kapag sinabi natin organizational design, we always think of the following questions. What is the particular job? Who is in charge? What is the particular role? Is the job or the role necessary in the production of goods and services? Who reports to who? Who performs specific jobs? And where are the people assigned? And what to do in order to produce the goods and services? So basically, lahat ng ito halos is makikita mo agad-agad sa isang organizational chart kapag maganda yung pagkaka-design ng chart at ng structure ng isang organization. So, listed here are several advantages of an effective organizational design. So, when we say effective, ibig sabihin, hindi siya nagkakos ng problem or yung design mismo hindi siya nagkakos ng bottlenecks masyado sa isang organization sa production ng kanilang goods and services. So, increased efficiency. When we say increased efficiency, this only means that mas mabilis ang trabaho, mas maayos magtrabaho, mas maganda ang output, mas quality ang output ng mga tao. And number two, faster and more effective decision making. So, if yung organizational design natin is walang supervisor or walang managerial roles, puro rank and file, so definitely hindi magkakaroon ng effective decision making. Number three, improved quality of goods and services, as I've mentioned a while ago. And number four, higher profits. So, syempre, mas mabilis ang pagtatrabaho, mas maganda ang quality, magta-translate siya into sales na mas mataas, and at the same time, lower operating costs, so magkakaroon tayo ng higher profits. And the fifth one is better customer relations. And the sixth one is the safer working conditions. The seventh one is a happier, healthier, and more motivated workforce. And lastly, greater preparedness for future challenges. So, we go now to the important takeaways in the discussion of organizational design. So, organizational design or structure that works for one organization may not work for another. This only means that uh, hindi one size fits all. So, ang isang organizational design ng isang restaurant, like for example, Jollibee, uh, I'm sorry, but hindi po ako nagpo-promote ng brand, but for the sake of discussion, I will be using several brands para mas clear ang discussion natin. So, for example, a restaurant such as Jollibee, meron siyang organizational design such as, kunyari sa branch, no, meron siyang restaurant manager, meron siyang cashiers, meron siyang kitchen crew, meron siyang dining crew. Okay? Sa isang lending company naman, meron siyang operations manager, meron siyang collections manager, meron siyang collectors, meron siyang accounting staffs. So, yung pag-ooperate ng isang restaurant is different totally from the operations of the lending company or the lending business. Magkaiba sila ng nature, magkaiba sila ng goods and services na ino-offer, and definitely magkaiba dapat sila ng structure or ng design para sa kanilang organizational charts. Otherwise, hindi alam ng mga tao, maco-confuse sila kung ano talaga yung trabaho nila or yung gagawin nila. Like for example, sa isang lending company, magha-hire ka ng isang restaurant manager. Ano naman ang alam ng isang restaurant manager sa pagpapatakbo ng isang lending company? So, let's say, oo, madali namang aralin, maaaral naman ang isang trabaho. But for the sake of organizational efficiency, why would why would the lending company hire a restaurant manager over someone with an experience in lending or in accounts management, right? So, this is where the importance of organizational design is found. Number two, organizational chart is customizable depending on the preference and the needs of organizations. So, as I've mentioned, usually box and lines and arrows ang ginagamit sa paggawa ng organizational chart, but hindi siya limited on these structures kasi it's customizable. So, depende sa trip or sa preference ng management. Kung ano yung magiging itsura ng kanilang charting para mas maganda yung visual appreciation ng mga makakakita. So, number three, the difference between organizational chart and organizational design is that an organizational chart changes every time there are changes in people or employees. So, kapag may nag-resign, may umalis, may bago, so nagbabago yung pangalan or yung picture doon sa organizational chart, nagbabago yung chart. However, yung organizational design remains the same. Hindi nadagdagan yung job role or yung responsibilities, hindi nagbago yung structure, yung design, yun mismo, yun pa rin siya. Yung tao lang yung nawala at napalitan. Okay? Whereas kapag ang organizational naman ang nagbago, automatic magbabago din ang organizational chart. So, kailan nga ba nagbabago ang isang organizational design? So, nagbabago yan if there are new roles, job descriptions, job titles, positions, expansions, or downsizings. Okay? So, number 4, organizational redesign. Again, organizational redesign is necessary every time organizational changes in organizational structures, processes, technology, and systems happen. So, every time na ina-update natin ang ating organizational structure or design or chart, so dapat nag-o-organizational redesign tayo. Ibig sabihin, ina-update dapat natin lagi yung tatlo, yung structure, yung design, and yung chart. This is because para hindi confused ang mga tao. Number 5, a well-designed organization ensures that the form of the organization matches its purpose or strategy. Form of organization, this only means that uh, ito yung nature of the business. Okay? Kung restaurant ba siya, or lending company ba siya, or manufacturing ba siya, or what. So, ang organizational design must meet the challenges posed by business realities and significantly increases the likelihood that the collective efforts of people will be successful. So, ibig sabihin, kapag nag-design tayo ng organization natin, yung structures natin dapat ina-align natin sa ating goals, sa ating objectives, sa ating mga strategies. Okay? So, to give you a clear point of view on this one. So, let's say, balik tayo dito sa ating organizational chart example. Okay. So, meron tayo diyaang owner or president. So, isa lang yan. And then number 2, meron tayong manager uh, positions. We have the accounting manager, marketing manager, operations manager, and the HR manager. So, sa aking palagay, okay naman itong organizational design na ito. Okay? Proper naman siya. In a sense na may kanya-kanyang division, may kanya-kanyang manager per department. Like, sa accounting, meron siya accounting manager. Sa marketing, meron siya marketing manager. And sa operations, meron siya operations manager, and so on. So, let's say nag-design tayo. Iisa yung branch natin. So, ito tayo, no? Nagkaroon tayo ng dalawang accounting manager positions. Okay. So, what do you think is going to happen kapag dalawa yung ating accounting manager tapos iisa lang yung branch natin, iisa lang naman yung company natin, 'di ba? So, ano ang gagawin ng dalawang accounting managers natin? So, mahahati yung trabaho. Siguro yung isa, hawak niya accounts management. Siguro yung isa, transaction management, ganito, ganyan. Pero, di ba, kung kaya namang gawin ng isang tao, ng isang manager, yung lahat ng trabaho, kaya niyang i-oversee, di ba? So, why hire two accounting managers? So, that is hindi practical in the sense na nagkakaroon siya ng manpower, job role redundancy. Ibig sabihin, paulit-ulit yung trabaho. Parang pareho lang naman yung trabaho nila, bakit pareho yung posisyon nila? Eh, hindi naman gano'n kadami yung hinahawakang accounts, okey? Punta naman tayo dito sa ating operations group. So, meron tayo diyaang, ah, copiers, supervisor, and under copier supervisor, copiers. So, sabihin na natin ito organizational chart na ito belongs to a printing services company. So, for example, nag-o-offer sila ng photocopying services, okay? Si operations manager, hawak niya yung note takers, supervisor, and this is note taker, supervisor, hawak niya si note taker. So, siguro, ito yung mga tagalista. Yung note taker, siguro sila yung tagalista ng mga clients. Anong mga pinapa-xerox nila, anong pages, ganito, ganyan. Sila yung nag-a-align or nag-organize, nag-sort. And then, ipapasa nila kay copier supervisor na hawak din ni operations manager, and then si copier supervisor meron siyang mga copiers na sila yung taga-xerox or taga-photocopy. Okay. So let's say si note takers, madami sila, 10 for example. So lahat sila nagkaroon ng customer, may nagpalista sa lahat sila. Tapos ang dami nung pinapa-photocopy nung mga nakuha nilang clients. Okay. So pagkapasa sa copiers, what if yung copier natin is mag-isa lang siya, iisa lang siya, okey? So, sa dami nung clients and sa dami nung ipapa-photocopy na materials, sa tingin niyo ba magiging efficient yung services na ibibigay ng company dun sa kanilang mga clients? Matatapos ba agad nung isang copier, nung isang person ang pagse-xerox ng lahat ng mga nakuhang clients ng mga note takers within the day? Perhaps hindi, magkakaroon sila ng backlogs, and by that, magkakaroon sila ng customer complaints. Magkakaroon sila ng, ah, problema kasi in the long run, hindi nababalik yung kanilang mga customers na nagkaroon ng hindi magandang experience na sobrang tagal at hindi ma-meet ang deadlines na kailangan ng kanilang mga customers, okey? So, hindi puwedeng iisa lang yung copier diyan, kailangan madami din sila, okey? And now, we shall go to change in organization. So, time for change. Kailan ba dapat nagkakaroon ng changes sa isang organization? So, it depends. It depends sa management, it depends sa pangangailangan ng business, it depends sa panahon, sa season, 'di ba? Kung kinakailangan na or puwede ring biglaan lang or puwede ring ano, planado, gano'n. But ano nga ba ang organizational change? So, organizational change refers to the actions in which a company or business alters a major component of its organization, such as its culture, the underlying technologies or infrastructure it uses to operate, or its internal processes. Organizational change is also defined as the process by which an organization moves from its present state to some desired future state to increase organizational efficiency and effectiveness. So, this is the most important part here of the definition, the organizational efficiency and effectiveness. So, kumbaga, kapag naggawa tayo ng organizational change, we always make sure na ang kalalabasan niya is increased efficiency and effectiveness. So, hindi puwede na magko-cause tayo ng disturbance sa ating organization by making changes Tapos ang kalalabasan lang niya, ang magiging return niya sa investment na gagawin natin is negative o kaya hindi maganda. So there are three types of organizational changes. So number one, the adaptive or the developmental changes. So these are small and or minor changes that are normally incremental in nature for the purpose of developing the existing organizational state or process without totally changing it. So ang example nito is improving the inventory reporting method and the updating of payroll procedures. So I'll expound here sa updating of payroll procedures. Like kapag ang company natin is may mga pinapasahudang tao, tapos ang ating procedure sa pagpapasahod is manual. So, ibig sabihin, kapag after every cut-off magpapasahod, may isang in charge na disbursement officer, papasahudin niya mano-mano, magla-line up yung mga tao, ibibigay niya yung cash. Okay? So, kapag ginawa nating automated yan, nakipag-partner tayo sa isang bank para magkaroon ng ATM cards ang ating mga employees para kapag sasahod ang mga employees is through ATM na, hindi na manual, hindi na i-distribute physically. So, magkakaroon ng organizational efficiency and effectivity. Specifically kasi magiging mabilis yung pag-release ng sahod at magiging walang hassle sa company kasi walang pipila, walang disbursement officer, 'di ba? So, iyon, less hassle and less probably na magkakaroon ng mistake sa pagdi-distribute at pagbibilang ng cash na ibibigay sa kada employee. So, ano yung change na ginawa doon? So, in-automate yung pagpapasahod sa mga tao. So, that is only in an adaptive or developmental change kasi uh, a certain portion lang ng ating procedure or process yung ating binago. Okay? The second one is transitional changes. So these are radical changes on a larger scale and scope that totally replace the old state or process without totally changing business models or strategies. So, ano ba ibig sabihin yan? So, number one is, example natin dito, creating new products and then implementing new technologies and corporate structures, mergers, and acquisitions. So, dito tayo mag-focus sa creating new products. So, for example, sa isang cafe, okay? So, nag-open si cafe, ang product lang niya is brewed coffee. So, merong processes si brewed coffee para magawa siya bago siya ibigay kay customer. Okay? Ngayon, after some time, naisip ni owner na magdagdag tayo ng milk teas sa kanilang menus. So, nagdagdag siya ng milk teas. So, ibig sabihin, gagawa siya din ng bagong processes and procedures kung paano gawin or timplahin yung milk teas. Kasi yung process sa paggawa ng brewed coffee is never the same as that sa process na paggawa ng milk teas. So, again, binago mo totally yung process ng paggawa ng brewed coffee. So, gumawa ka ng bagong process sa paggawa ng milk tea, but hindi mo binago yung business model or yung strategies ng business. Kumbaga, same pa rin yung brand name, same pa rin yung company, same pa rin yung goals and objectives ng company, which is to serve foods and beverages. And yung strategies mo is same pa din na makapagbenta ka ng quality foods and in beverages. Okay, so walang binago sa mga yan. Ang nagbago lang is nagkaroon ng bagong item, so nagkaroon ng bagong processes or procedures sa paggawa ng bagong item. Okay? So, pinalitan natin yung yung ng buo yung process ng paggawa ng isang lumang item, okay? And then the third one is the transformational changes. These are radical changes, also on a larger scale and scope, that totally replace the old state or process, the same as the transitional changes. However, these changes also totally reshape the business models or strategies. So, may mga example dito, pero magfo-focus ako doon sa implementing major strategic and cultural changes. So, um, ang gagawin ko example dito is McDonald's. Okay? So, alam naman natin lahat na si McDonald's came from the western section of the world, from the US. Okay? So, ang target market talaga ni McDonald's at first, when it started, is mga Americans. Okay? So, iba ang culture ng Americans. Ang breakfast nila, iba. Ang meals nila, iba. Iba yung kanilang panlasa. Okay? So, yung marketing strategies nila, yung business models nila, kung paano sila makakapag-acquire ng market share is specific lang doon sa mga Americans. And then, nag-branch out sila worldwide. And then, gawin natin example dito sa Philippines. Meron silang branches sa Philippines. Okay? So, yung business models nila, yung mga strategies, marketing activities nila na ginagawa nila doon sa Amerika, pwede ba nilang gawin yon or gamitin yon dito sa Philippines? Totally not. Scrape over nila lahat yon. So, lahat yon, itatapon nila yon. Kailangan gumawa sila ng panibago at as in original na business models and strategies para makapag-acquire sila ng malaking market share dito sa Philippines. Because magkaiba ang culture ng Americans sa atin na Filipinos, magkaiba ang ating gusto, magkaiba ang gusto ng mga Americans. So, if the Americans don't like rice as meals, so sa ating Filipinos, kailangan natin ng rice meals. So, another thing is, may mga products and services na ino-offer dito sa Philippines na hindi ino-offer doon sa kanilang American branches. Like for example, yung mga ice creams, yung mga mango pie, ubi pie, uh, Coke floats, and the like. Basically, because we the Filipinos love those products. Gusto natin yung mga pagkain yun. Pero doon sa Amerika, hindi nila gusto yung mga ganong pagkain. Actually, so, iyon, magkaiba ang menu ni McDonald's US sa menu ni McDonald's Philippines. So, magkaiba, may mga magkakaibang products, so magkakaiba ang processes, and at the same time, nabago din yung business models. Okay? I hope everyone is uh, okay with the explanation. Sana naintindihan po natin lahat. Okay, so punta naman tayo sa organizational change management. So itong term na ito, meron siyang management. So when we say organizational change management, it is the process of guiding organizational change to a successful resolution. So yun nga, as I mentioned a while back, kapag gumawa tayo ng change or nagplano tayo ng change sa isang organization, dapat ang goal natin, ang end goal natin is maging more effective and more efficient ang ating organization sa pag-produce ng ating products and services. So, kailangan mina-manage natin yung gagawin nating change in order na maging successful ito. Otherwise, magiging, sayang. Kumbaga nag-start ka ng change tapos hindi mo natapos or hindi hindi nangyari, hindi naging successful. So, gumastos ang isang organization para lang sa wala, nagtapon lang siya ng pera. So, it's not, really practical kapag gagawa ka ng change tapos hindi mo tatapusin, okey? It is also a method of addressing organizational change-related problems such as resistance. So, alam naman natin na every time na magkakaroon tayo ng changes, mag-i-introduce tayo ng pagbabago sa ating organization, meron at merong resistance. So, ang resistance natin could be internal or could be external. Pag sinabi natin external, it could be from uh, the customers. Pwedeng gusto natin yung change. Pero gusto ba yan ng ating customers? Diba? So, if ayaw ng ating customers, ipipilit ba natin? So, kaya ba nating masustain yung demand? Eh, ayaw ng customers natin. So, makaka-create ba tayo ng demand kapag ipupush natin yung gusto nating change? Or kapag sinabi natin internal resistance, ito naman is ating mga employees or ating management team. Okay? So, for example, um, sa ating organization, meron tayong bagong branch, nag-branch out tayo. Okay. So, ang plano ng upper management initially is kung sino yung operations team ng first branch, sila din yung magiging operations team ng second branch. Okay? So, sa pag-aaral naman ng upper management, possible naman daw. The question is, kaya ba? Diba? The question is, okay, so going back, so, yun, ang tanong is, kaya ba ng mga tao natin na i-handle yung second branch? Or gusto ba nila, 'di ba? So, maraming factors na kailangan i-consider before we implement the change. And then number three, organizational change management typically includes three major phases, which are preparation, implementation, and the follow-through or solidification. So, itong three major phases, makikita natin ito sa business model ni as a change model theory ni Kurt Lewin. So, we will discuss it later on. Pero unahin na muna natin itong the 7 R's of change management. For impact assessment or the benefits to risks ratio. So, as a change manager, kailangan tinatanong natin itong basic 7 questions na ito aside from all the other questions na dapat pang itanong, okay? So, who raised the change? What is the reason for the change? What is the return required from the change? What are the risks involved in the change? What resources are required to deliver the change? Who is responsible for the build, test, and implementation of the change? And what is the relationship between this change and other changes? So, kailangan ina-assess to ng change manager. Basically, para ma-identify kung mas madami bang benefits yung gagawing pagbabago or mas madaming problemang lilitaw. So, yun. So, we go now to Kurt Lewin's three-stage model of change theory, which has three states, the unfreezing, the change, and the refreezing states. The unfreezing state is the part of the change process where the organization and its stakeholders who will be involved or affected by the planned change are made aware and prepared through proper communication. So, this is also the part where possible resistance is addressed. So, una, unfreezing. And then, pangalawa, the change itself. So, it is the moving or the transitioning stage. And this is where the change is actually being carried out or implemented. So, ginagawa na siya. And then, lastly, is the refreezing, which is the final stage of the change process. This is where the new state or condition is being permanently solidified and maintained. So, to expound further, okay, kunyari sa organization, meron siyang existing process na ganito. Okay, like, ang isang organization is totally manual processes lang talaga siya. Wala siyang computers, wala siyang internet. Okay? So, ang transactions nila, ang filing nila ng mga papers is all on paper and mano-mano. So, ang balak gawin na change is ah, mag-adapt ng technology, mag-introduce ng computers and printers. So, yun. Hindi naman basta-basta na bibili ka lang agad ng computers and printers and maglalagay ka ng internet, bigla-bigla, isasalpak mo agad doon sa iyong offices, 'di ba? So the first thing that the management has to do is to inform everyone. Imimit dapat niya yung mga tao na, okay, this is the plan. Bibili tayo ng mga computers, gagawin natin automated or digital ang ating mga transactions and so on and so forth. Okay? I-explain dapat ni upper management kung para saan tong changes na ito, ano ang purpose nito, bakit kailangan ito, bakit dapat mangyari ito, 'di ba? So, ang magiging resistance diyan ng mga tao is hindi sila marunong. For example, gumamit ng computers or hindi sila nakaalam sa internet, 'di ba? So, to address that, kailangan ready ang management na mag-conduct ng trainings and seminars, 'di ba? Training and development programs na talagang i-immerse yung mga employees para matuto sila before i-implement talaga yung actual change. Kasi it is very important na i-address yung concern ng mga affected or involved employees ng change, diba? Para yung resistance nila is hindi masyadong mataas, hindi sila magkaroon ng anxiety, diba? Okay, so let's say nakapag-training na sila. So medyo may idea na sila. Okay, so that's the time mag-purchase na ng mga devices, tapos i-install na. Kapag na-install na, okay, and operational na yung mga computers, internet, printers, and the like, that's the time na naging change na siya, yung transitioning stage naganap na. And so, ang gagawin na lang is the refreezing stage. So, pag sinabing refreezing stage, dapat yung mga tao, everyday, doon na uupo sa workstation nila na may computer, everyday i-o-on nila yung computer, gagamitin nila yung computer, every time na may transaction, i-encode sa computer, every time na may ginawang changes sa data, i-update ang kanilang database. So, to be able na ma-sustain 'yan, yung bagong status quo, is kailangan everyday mino-monitor sila. Kasi ang tendency kapag pinabayaan mo lang agad sila kahit nandiyan na yung computer, kung ano yung nakasanayan nilang gawin na mano-mano before, babalik at babalik sila doon kasi doon sila nakasanayan. Okay? So, that is refreezing. We go now to the Bernd-Litwin change acceptance model. So, ano lang 'yan, parang sa love life lang din 'yan. Kapag nagkaroon tayo ng heartbreak, so hindi natin matatanggap agad-agad 'yan. Dadaan tayo sa several stages ng pagkabigo, ng pighati, ganyan. So, una, denial. So, parang hindi natin matanggap na wala na, tapos na ba yung relationship or in this case, meron na ba talaga yung change? So ba yung change na 'yan? Ganyan. And then the second stage is the realization. So, mare-realize mo na nangyayari na nga ito, may change talagang gagawin. And then the anger resistance stage, which is the hardest uh, thing to address. Diba? So after nyan, after some time, magkakaroon ng letting go, diba? Ang mga involved stakeholders. So, kumbaga, unti-unti, ah, na nakikita nila, na-experience nila na hindi na nila ginagawa yung dating procedure, processes. So, ang ginagamit na nila is yung bago. And so, therefore, magkakaroon sila ng searching stage. Parang everyday na pumapasok sila, parang paunti-unti hahanap-hanapin na nila kung ano yung bagong nakasanayan nila. And with that, magkakaroon sila ng understanding doon sa meaning ng changes na, okay, so ito pala yung sinasabi nilang product or effect nung change na ginawa. Kaya siguro ginawa ito kasi maganda naman pala yung kinalabasan. Okay. After that, mai-internalize yung changes. So, pag na-internalize na ng mga staff, ng mga employees and other stakeholders yung change na ginawa, so wala nang problema. So, the whole process of change uh, has been internalized. So, dapat i-measure na dyan, susunod is yung effects ng changes. So, how effective yung ginawa nating pagbabago. So, yung upper management natin, dapat i-measure nila yung difference ng productivity and efficiency ng mga tao before and after the change. We have also important takeaways in organizational change discussion. So, organizational change is the foundation of organizational development. So, kapag walang pagbabago, walang nagaganap na development. Organizational change can pave for organization's process improvement. So, kung walang change, wala ring mag-improve na processes. Organizational change can be caused by internal or external factors, forces, or disturbances. Number four, organizational change is a difficult undertaking, thus, proper and constant communication must be accorded to those who are involved or affected by the change. And number five, one important goal of change management is to minimize resistance and encourage acceptance. Okay, and do not forget na ang organizational change is, again, ang pinaka-goal niya, pinaka-purpose niya is to have an increased productivity, efficiency, and effectivity. So, hindi tayo gagawa ng organizational change para lang sa wala at para mas lalong gumulo ang sistema ng isang organization. So, before I end my presentation, gusto ko lang sabihin ang sinabi ni Henry Rollins na change is hard, but change is good. And gusto ko lang din i-emphasize, while change is good, there are also changes which are bad. So, it's up to us kung pipiliin ba natin ang magandang pagbabago or pipiliin natin ang masalimuot at hindi magandang pagbabago. So, that would be all. Thank you very much for listening to my presentation.